Hi, my name is Anthony Conlon, Performance and Development Manager here at Valley Road School, Sunderland. This is a video to explain how targets can be used in the tracking system and how they actually work and what they can do. Okay, within the tracking system, the use of targets is completely optional. The system will automatically measure progress in 1 point per term and 2 levels progress, 12 points across Key Stage 2, 1 to 2, and 6 points from year 1 to year 2 in Key Stage 1. However, that would only be expected progress. It will also measure children progress against national expectations, but targets can be used as something different to them too, usually above and beyond. So the system includes the ability to be able to set individual targets, which would be end of key stage targets, and will indicate progress towards the targets on a termly basis. The way the targets are used are determined by yourselves. There's lots of different ways schools are currently using these, which I'll explain some of shortly. And they really can be used in any way that you want. So if we start off from year 3 to year 6, when you enter a target, it can be entered at any time during this time. It could be year 3 autumn or year 3 summer or year 4 autumn. It really doesn't matter when the targets are entered. You're entering a target for the end of the key stage. So if you're entering it in year 3 autumn, it's what your expectation target is for that child at the end of year 6. Don't worry, they can be altered in between if necessary. So for example, if you were to set a target of somebody of a 4A, obviously by the end of year 6 they'll need to get to that 4A if they're going to be on track for achieving that target. But it will work that target backwards based on 1 point per term to all the way to the start of year 3. And show you where you need to be each term if you're online to achieve that target, again based on expected progress of 1 point per term. So if you were in year 4 spring and your target was a 4A, you should roughly be somewhere between a 3B and a 3A if you're likely to achieve that target by the end. If it's all the way back to year 3 spring, you'd need to be on a 3C to get a 4A. If you were going to go for a higher target like a 5B, you really need to obviously be in a 5B by the end, but it would be in year 4 spring, somewhere between a 4C and a 4B, and year 3 spring, a 3A. So I'm going to switch to a mark sheet just to show you what that looks like in an actual mark sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go to Focus, Assessment and Mark Sheet Entry. I'm going to bring up a Valley Road Year 3 mark sheet, and I'll just bring maths in the autumn term. They're on calculate as always to make the columns nicer to read and a bit closer together, and with the dividing blue columns. So here we've already got some targets that are actually set. The targets I've put in here are actually being used for 14 points progress across the key stage from year 3 to year 6 as opposed to the expected 12. But you can use this in any way you want. I'm going to make some changes to it now to show you how things differ. So at the moment, Jane has been set a target for the end of year 6 of a 5A, actually, which is equivalent to a Fisher Family Trust target anyway. So to get a 5A by the end of the key stage, really by the end of this autumn term, she should be somewhere between a 3A and a 4C, because if she only makes expected progress from them grades, she'll only end up with that result. Obviously I appreciate that children don't progress at 1 point per term, but it's just an indication of the likelihood of achieving the target. The next child's been set a target of a 3A, so you can see the difference here. It's been a 1A, 2C, and a 4A and a 3A. If I go to the next mark sheet into the spring, we'll see how the targets change. The targets themselves remain the same in terms of the overall target, but the expectation of where they need to be at this term now increases by 1. So obviously this is increasing all the time because they need to be making progress. So for Jane to get a 5A, by the time we get to year 3 of the spring term, she needs to be in a 4C here. So that will increase all the way through to the end, where the last result will hopefully be a 5A. Okay, I'm just going to switch back to the autumn mark sheet for a second and just explain how the targets are working. So the target is, the end of key stage target is then worked backwards to where they need to be in this term. So at the moment it's a 3A stroke 4C, which will mean Jane is currently behind the target because she's only on a 3C. So that's not as high as that's why it's a minus. So I can make her on target. If I make her either a 3A, press calculate, she's now on target, that would not be red, it would not be coloured, or a 4C, they're both seen as on target. If she was on a 4B, She would be above the target, which is why that's changed there. Okay, and the 1 and 0 column works exactly the same as the other ones in terms of it being a percentage. A 0 means you're below your target, and a 1 means you're at or above that target. But obviously, you can change this target anytime you want. We can set this now, but then Jane may well already be achieving way above that target, and you might need to increase, or on the other hand, you might need to decrease the target. You can change that at any time you want in any term. It does also log who's changed that and when as well, just so people can't go and change it willy-nilly. So say I change that target down to from a 5A to a 5C. At the moment nothing's happened over there. 3A, 4C. Press calculate, and now that is obviously changed where you need to be in this term for that target. So that's how the targets work. It'd be quite useful. Year 3 to year 6. It works exactly the same as well from year 1 to year 2. It's still an end of key stage target in there, and these are sub-leveled as well. You don't just put like a level 3, level 1 and need sub-levels. In there, they are sub-levels, and it works the points backwards in exactly the same way. So if we go back to a year 1 mark sheet, focus, assessment, mark sheet entry, ERY1, have a look in the autumn term, narrow and calculate. Again, some targets have been set for these children. In there, Laura's been set at 3A by the end of the key stage, obviously quite high. So she really should be, in the autumn term of year 1, somewhere between a 2A and a 3C if she's going to get a 3A by the end. It's possibly a bit ridiculous, but you can obviously change that target to whatever you want. In there, now it's more likely to be in a 2C or 2B. Okay, if the target was a 1A, P8. So it works it backwards all the time. And that's how the targets work. Thank you very much.